manifest something into their lives. That'd be cool
Yeah,
for
just get
sure.
just really get taken back by the shapes, whatever is changing on the screen.
Yeah, and there's a market for psychedelic stuff, you know? People that
True, true.
indulge in Sunken Blimp Stage underwater. That's why they're called dive lives. And each of these presentations is about 20 minutes where we have a speaker that talks about their work, their philosophy of life, or whatever, they would like to talk about. And today we have a very interesting guest, which I'm going to introduce in a little bit. So feel free to check out some of the videos. Prash is going to be walking us through them and showcasing his work, which is pretty mind-blowing. Chances are you might have seen one or two of his videos on TikTok because, he blows up and goes viral every now and then. So yeah, welcome and make yourself at home. This is all of your homes as well. All right, so actually it's 7. Look at that. So welcome back everyone to the Sunken Blimp Stage. I think we're starting the live stream as well. So if you guys want to meet me here in the center, I would like to start off by welcoming everyone, of course, and then introducing our speaker of today. So I hope everyone is settled and comfortable. All right, so who we have here today with us, his name is Prash, and I'll introduce him a little bit. So in the height of COVID, Prash saw a mass of people joining TikTok, but he, as an engineer, had no idea how this would serve as a motivation to experiment and developed a new art medium through stop motion / time-lapse animations using 3D printing. So this method uses the layer by layer nature to make stop motion animations. And once the print is finished, you won't ever see the same perspective or see the art that is trapped inside of the piece. And Prash has worked as a system and mechanical engineer within the AR and VR industry, as well as brain imaging, and has always had a particular focus on optical systems. And his passion for technology has sent him to present even the SXSW and other conferences internationally. So it is a pleasure having you here on stage. Thank you so much, Prash, for hosting today's Dive Live. And now the stage is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. Cheers. I really appreciate this opportunity to showcase some of my work, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So to start off, if you want to follow me around to the very left of the area. So the way this has been sort of curated is in chronological order of the date that I made them, and I think that's quite pertinent to the story that's happened here and the development as I've learned how to make these basically. So in the very first instance, if you can see this one just over here on the left, I started by, I had the idea that it was the 2021 New Year, and I wanted to create a time lapse that showed that transition, that change between it. I'd seen a lot of sort of time lapses on TikTok that sort of all methods in the exact same. So the camera was set up in the same place, and it moves the bed where you can see just there, and it takes a photo at every from a normal time lapse that you might see where you can still see the head of that as it's out of nowhere, which is kind of different from what you might be expecting. But I learned how to do that through looking at other TikTok videos and browsing online, and I finalized that process. And once I got it, this was one of the first actual time lapses that I made from it. And for me, that was really exciting, really fun. I love photography, I love 3D design, I love graphic design. So to be able to make something like that and share it was great. And actually, this was, I think, like the third TikTok that I made. I made a few other time lapses at first, but within the first sort of maybe 10, 15,000 views. Now, from someone who's, only been on Instagram or something like that before and posted a few things and got like a few hundred maybe likes from my friends and things, that number of thousands of views was like way beyond what I was expecting. So it was a bit of a motivating factor. And I thought, oh, cool, people actually want to see this. And, it goes to show as well in a medium like TikTok that you can hit a much larger audience than you may have otherwise. And so that sort of went on from there. So if we move down a little bit to the next two, really. So the one on my right here, the heart that says "Be Mine." This is a really simple one, so I'm just going to turn the sound on for this one. We'll hear it a couple of times. So really simple, just like this sound was on TikTok, and I just love the simplicity of it. So I thought, let me create something for Valentine's Day that people would want to share with the people that their Valentines, essentially. So I put this very simple time lapse together. To be fair, it maybe didn't do as well as I'd hoped, and I was trying to use TikTok medium in the sense of sharing things that adds sort of credibility in the TikTok algorithm, and then maybe sends it out to more people if people are actively sharing it. So I was sort of playing with that, but in terms of the actual method and how I did it, this is the first time where I actually embedded sort of text into the print and did it using the infill, because the reason why I started using the infill here actually is each bit of text needs to be supported by the layers underneath. You can't have nothing underneath. It can't just print on top of air. So using the circular lines that you can see around the print, that helps support the words through the rest of it. And that's how the printing works these days. Like if you were printing this just as a solid object, you would use a type of infill to do that. So it uses the fundamental methods, but I've hidden some letters in it, and I still have these prints, and all you see is the final thing right at the end, which is it just says Valentine on it, and it's just a heart shape, and that intrigued me as well. Like as we go on, I'll talk a bit more about that. Actually, one of the things I was more excited about is at this next one. So instead of just being within the infill in the inside of the print, I wanted to play with the external geometry. So in this case, it's another sort of play on Valentine's, if you like, but this one has a sound that went with it as well. So it's a bit of a loop there. I think actually the sound that was used is one from a song, and right after that the beat drops and it goes run, and there's sort of a very energetic song behind that. But this is sort of the anticipation stage before. So I made it as a loop, and of course on TikTok videos play in loops. So much like you can see it here, it goes back and forth, and it sort of teases the idea of something that's about to happen. For this one, the important thing here was, can you make an animation from just using the external geometry? And as you can see, you can probably see the idea here, like the arrows going through the heart, but you can see the whole trail behind it. That has an interesting concept in itself, but it can be hard if you want to do more complex animations to show anything or something with detail because of the trail behind. You kind of want to forget the layer before. Like if you watched The Simpsons and you saw every single frame that it was before, it would get very hectic very quickly. And so this is something that is really exciting to me, but one that I want to develop a bit more with time. I have some ideas on how I can actually play with that, but I need some slightly different equipment to do so, but there'll definitely be more along those lines coming up. in the future. So that brings me on more to a few other pieces that I made. So these next two are actually the same file. The first one here on the left, this one in blue, is the first attempt that I made at it. So all the other ones that you've seen so far and that you will see are the final version of the prints, but you know, we don't always make what we want first time round. So this was like a test print that I did to test the concept of what it was, and it's actually based on a trending sound at the time. So I'll just play it for you now.
But I need you to stop anyway. Listen, it's a good joke. It's a great joke even. But I need you to stop anyway.
So it's quite a funny sound. I thought it was quite funny at the time. It's basically the creator that had made it. Somebody had written a joke that was sort of mildly. It wasn't really offensive, but it was like jokingly offensive, but it was very funny, and she couldn't help but laugh at what this person had said. And so that was her reaction to that video. And lots of people then used that same sound for their own video. So I did the same thing with mine. And so I made the video on the other side here, which I'll play. It's the same sound, but
I need you to stop anyway. Listen, it's a good joke. It's a great joke even. But I need you to stop anyway. Listen, it's a good joke.
So in this one, you can see obviously the lighting has changed a lot. And one of the main things is the infill, the background has changed a lot. So it's a lot clearer to read. That was one of the critical things that I wanted to change from the original one, because if you look at the one on the other side, the first one that I made, it's quite jarring. It's a bit difficult. The pattern is beautiful, like the layer, the infill that they used is really nice, and it's pleasing to look at if there was no text. But the fact that I wanted to get that text across meant that I had to get rid of it. And this video actually did quite well. It was actually in response to a comment that somebody left on my video. And this is one of the great things about TikTok as well. Like one of my friends and collaborators who I've made some other videos with, she left a comment on one of my videos that was slightly teasing me. So I used this opportunity to take this trending sound and, you know, create something that it was in response to that. But I think one of the things that people took away from it is a lot of response videos in TikTok and things like that are purely based on they're just really quick videos that you take. That somebody, okay, put the camera in front of you, I'm going to record myself for 30 seconds and then it's done. This obviously took a lot more time and preparation to do. So one of the reactions or comments or things that people did say a lot was that, wow, like you're, you know, being very committed to the cause of replying to that. And I like that idea that, you know, you can take things to sort of another level, especially in TikTok, because you have time to create these things. But equally, if we go across to the next one, this is a very similar sort of style of print that I did. And again, this plays with another TikTok trend. If you're up with the trends, you've almost definitely heard this one. It's like one of the most popular trends that was out. So I'll play that.
Do you?
Also, yeah.
What's your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck. I actually do cuss a little.
Do you?
Also,
What's
yeah.
your favorite curse word?
Probably fuck. I actually do cuss a little.
So that one's taken from an interview. It's kind of a silly one, but for this, the timing was had to be right, and this was something that I haven't spoken about yet here, but it's quite critical to all of these pieces with sound. Ensuring it hits on the print at every single point with the right word and with the timing, whether it's lyrics in a song or whether it's just, you know, from these trending sounds, makes a huge difference. And this is part of the method, and I've shared video on this actually on my TikTok to explain it to people. But it's basically, it's quite a simple concept. Each layer within the print is has a height of, I mean, you set the layer height when you slice the print. So when you're processing, you set what each layer height is. So I've got mine here mostly at 0.2 millimeters. And if you take the text, or if you take the audio, sorry, and you time the audio, you can see how many frames it is until the next word comes. So if you know that each frame is a layer, each layer is 0.2 millimeters, you can calculate by how many, by multiplying the number of frames by the number of layers, you will get the height of the letter, or the height at which your letter needs to start. Excuse me. So in doing that, you can calculate, you know, when each thing comes in. So I can say that maybe like the DU that comes in at 2 millimeters, or yeah, and then the next one after that, which is also, yeah, that comes in at like 3 millimeters because of the timing in between it. And I was actually kind of, I don't know, it was calculated, but I kind of feel like it was luck in that the first time I tried to do this, hello? Did it say I was muted? Was I muted this whole time? Because I'm not sure what just happened there.
We could hear you.
Okay, so maybe I'll just start from where I was. So yeah, no, this took a bit of time to work out the timings, but once it was done, it helped me with all of the future ones as well. And it was something that I think a lot of people found quite, they either thought the video was sped up and slowed down in order to account for it, but actually all of these prints are designed with the audio prior to making the designs, and it's quite key to the process actually. So moving along, we have a kind of similar print again. So a lot of these ones, I had a little time where I was making quite a few of them. This one was actually a response to a comment. So I believe it was on the previous video where, or it was actually another one where I had a failed print. And if you've again heard any of the TikTok memes, there was a sound going around that was it goes, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. But it was used a lot, and because it was used a lot, people got annoyed when they heard the sound. And I used that for one of my time lapses where something went wrong in the 3D print, because there was lots of stringing on it and lots of bits that came off the print. And I posted that just to show people, you know, 3D printing doesn't always work. So when I did that with that sound, somebody said, oh, wow, you know, I really used to enjoy your content, or something like that. Or they said something along the lines of, I've unfollowed because of your use of this sound. And I was telling one of my other TikTok collaborator friends about what had happened, and she was like, this isn't an airport, no need to announce your departure. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious, and it was so funny that like she you know, that was the response. And I thought, you know what, it would be a great response as a video response to the comment if I did that. So that's literally what I did. And just to rub maybe some salt in the wound, I used the same sound again. Again, here the timing is super important, and I guess the way that the camera is animated. So you know, the whole time lapse is taken still. There's no actual change in the camera position or anything like that. But in post, because it's taken quite zoomed out and at relatively high resolution, you can crop into the image, and that's how I've animated it for this one with the sound. And yeah, so that was a fun one. That also did relatively well because I think people just like conflict. Yeah. Sorry, is that a question? No. Okay, that might just be the VR hands going a bit crazy on the characters. Okay, cool. So we'll continue to the next one. So all of the ones that we've done so far have been motivated mostly by just desires to make videos, make content, things on TikTok, whether it's responding to comments, creating things for like Valentine's Day or New Year's. It was all things where I was motivated. I wanted to create something that was fun and would contribute to the 3D printing community and things like that. And through doing that, I made some really good friends in the 3D printing community. One of these friends is quite a big account on TikTok. He's amassed a huge following through his brilliant videos. His title is, or his tag is, It's Boy in Space. He has, I think, like 4.1 million followers on TikTok now. But I became friends with him. I speak to him a lot about making different things. And his friend had created a song which he wanted to promote and publicize. Excuse me. And the way that he wanted to do it, he spoke to me because he'd seen my time lapses, and he said, Prash, I have this song. I think you could do something really cool with it. Here is the snippet. Do your magic, and I'd love to share it with everyone. So as soon as I heard the song, I was completely motivated. I was completely inspired. He sent it to me on a Friday. For some like magic luck of draw of the cards, I had the whole weekend free. So I spent the whole weekend creating designs for the 3D models and conceptualizing whilst printing both a few test prints and then the final ones, whilst recording the time lapses, and whilst they were printing, which each one took about 8 hours or so to do, and there's about 2 or 3 different models there. Whilst the previous one was printing, I was designing the next one and getting it ready. And by the Sunday evening, I sent him the final video. Just because I was so hyper focused on it. I was really, it was such a great song, and I really wanted to get it out, and I really wanted to send the message, and he loved it, and I hope you guys like it too. So I'm going to pull it up to the beginning, and we'll have a listen. So we'll just run that through one more time. Thank you. So yeah, thank you very much. On this one, it's actually still one of my favorite ones. It shows really that you can do a lot more than what I've been previously doing with this tech, with this sort of method, and it was just such a great collaboration as well. I love this song, so I wanted to make something for it. I made the 3 different models. In the first one, the lyrics are quite sort of talking about crying in the eyes, so I used the eye shape in order to do that. I needed the infill to carry the words, and you notice that in this one and in a couple of the previous ones as well, as the layers go up, because of the way the lighting is, the words behind blend and disappear into the background. And I loved that effect, so I wanted to keep that going. And I'm really proud of how this has come out. I mean, it kind of shows you a use case of if you wanted to make a music video out of sort of these 3D prints, or at least part of a music video from it, that you could do it and create something quite different, quite interesting. And I'm not a graphic designer or an animator by any means, but I dabble a bit, so I've created these. But if you could put some great animators together, you could go way beyond the scope of this. But I'm super proud of it, and it also there's a key theme that runs throughout here, which is the way that even through, so all of this happened during the pandemic. And I was creating at home by myself, but actually TikTok gave me this portal into this 3D printing community and world in which all these people can come together and help create new things. And it was super motivating to do so. So, and that's, it doesn't stop there as we go on to the next print over here. This is probably one of the main ones which I'm also really, really proud of. So, as you might have seen on the stage, right at the back there is a model. Just back here, down here. So this is, if you've seen Stranger Things, this will be sort of familiar to you. This is the Vecna model. It's one of the characters in the very popular TV show Stranger Things. When I was watching Stranger Things, I heard, or even when I was on TikTok, to be fair, I heard the song "Running Up That Hill" by Kate Bush, and I was really enjoying, the sort of resurgence of that classic 80s track. And when I saw these models being printed on TikTok, I thought, I have to look at this. And so this model has been made by somebody called 3Dim Sculpts. So it's 3DOM Sculpts. He's a fantastic sculptor. Has created this from scratch just by looking at reference images and watching the show, which blows my mind because I definitely can't model like that. It's a very different type of modeling that I do, which is extruding shapes. This sculpting is a whole different game. So when I saw that model, I thought I definitely have to collaborate, definitely have to make something with that. So I started talking to him about it. I told him the idea. I created the text models. So if we come back over to where we were over here, I can show you the actual text model that I made. So over here in blue, I wrote out all the lyrics as they should be, with all the timing, and I put it all in place. I merged it all together, and I did this with the Vecna head bust that you can see there as an overlay over the top. And by subtracting the text out of the whole Vecna head model, I was able to take or create these cavities within the model. So one of these, so you can kind of see this concept here, where as these slices move out, you can see the text and how it's been cut out. So this is representative. It's not exactly the model, but it shows you and gives you an idea of how the text comes out at different layers. So it uses the very same method of everything else. It's just instead of me creating a specific model for it, I used a beautiful model that, again, was found through the community, through TikTok as well. So I'm just going to play this one for you guys. Obviously, the sound is super critical for this video, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, that's sort of the progress. It's sort of a culmination of things over, the year and a half or so that this has happened into creating something, and obviously with Stranger Things doing as amazingly well as it is, and I was really loving and enjoying the series. I was super motivated to get this this sort of print done, and I was so happy that it was received quite well. After making this, I did put it on Twitter, and there was Make magazine had a look at it, and they posted something as well as Hackaday on Twitter. And for me, that was really cool because I've always sort of Make magazine and such as well. So super happy, and yeah, really like very privileged that I was able to get such a great response from everyone too. So yeah, thank you very much. I think this is the one. So going on from this, I definitely have more plans to do some more content. I think, as you can see, the recurring theme here has been collaboration with people is so key, because you get such great sort of ideas, and that's as Matthias was saying earlier, that's the idea of these talks and getting people inspired and working with people. So if you're interested as well, do let me know, and I'd love to speak to you about it too. For this talk over here, the very final one that I'll point out. Okay, I accidentally teleported across the stage, but is the Sunken Blimp one, which I did for today, which was really easy. Quite simple. I used a very different infill texture here, just to because I thought it looked quite cool actually, and even using sort of the new updates from some the slices in order to get that very thin text to come out well, which probably wouldn't have been possible maybe a week ago before the new alpha had come out. But yeah, using Prusa Slicer, I was able to put this together, and this was a bit of a quick turnaround. I think I got the files last night or yesterday afternoon, and I quickly put it together for this, just as a demonstration of what you can do, and just pushing things a little bit further. So going forward, like I said, I've got lots of plans to create much more content along those lines, and I would love to share it all with you. I have it on my TikTok, and I'm starting to use, I'm learning to use Twitter these days, so it'll be there too. So please do get in contact if you have any ideas or want to collaborate. Thank you very much.
Amazing, Prash. Thank you so much for the dive live. This was honestly amazing. I was like, I had a smile half of the presentation on my face, and
amazing. Thank you.
It out. First of all, thank you so much for the time lapse of the dive live and Sunken Blimp. This looks sick, like absolutely amazing. Thank you. And
I'm so glad you like it.
Out, oh, of course. I wanted to point out something that I was thinking during the presentation, and I caught myself thinking, wait, is this like 4D design? And I was like, no, it is 3D. Yeah, that thought went through my head real quick. But then I started thinking, the amazing thing about this art or this experience, the video, the content that you make, it is 3D, and you're using a 3D printer. However, the way that you're using the 3 dimensions are interesting, right? Because you're analyzing the art through the 2 dimensions of, like a flat drawing, and then the 3rd dimensions, which is the z-axis or the height, becomes time, right? So now it's a 2+1 dimensional art piece instead of just 3D, and that's why at the end, when you have the final piece that you hold in your hand, it's the time is frozen, right? You froze on the last frame, so now you have a 3-dimensional object, but the actual art piece, which is 2D plus 1, is frozen on the last one. I don't know. Like when I was thinking about, and then you're just seeing the trails, right? Like you're talking about the arrow going through the heart, and you see the trail. You
Yeah.
see all of the time that has passed before, but then you need the video in order to experience the whole thing because time is flowing within the video. I don't know. I was just thinking about that. My mind was blowing.
Yeah, no, it's a great perspective that you had there. I've thought about the same before because um, at some point somebody did actually make some time lapse animations a bit similar to these. It was in the last few months or so, and it had gone around, or some people had written that it's 4D, and I was thinking about it, and I basically had the same realization that actually no, because your Z is your time. It's the same, and like you said, once it's finished, it's like an artifact of something that has preceded in time before it. Conceptually, it is a bit mind blowing, so often don't think about it too much. One thing that I do like about these though is that the you mentioned it in the great introduction that you gave to me was once it's finished printing, you don't see the infill. You don't see what's inside it. It's especially true of the Vecna model. I have the Vecna model in front of me now, and it looks exactly like it would had you just printed it as most of the other people who bought this model and downloaded and printed it would have. So for me, the special thing is it almost goes back to I was talking to one of my colleagues about quantum theory or quantum mechanics, and the fact that when you view something or when you observe something, its state can change because of the quantum conditions and what it is you're looking at, and it kind of plays on that concept in my head a little bit because if you see the print when it's done, you have no idea anything is inside it. You don't really know what's inside it. It's a bit like Schrodinger's cat. You don't know what the cat has done inside the box. But if you're continuously monitoring what's going on, you see the time lapse and you see the words and the lyrics within it. So it's really fun conceptually to have this thing that's trapped. And it kind of makes you think about other things. I remember going around afterwards thinking, I've never looked or cut open this, this other statue or this model that exists. I don't know what's in there. Is it hollow? Is there has somebody put like an Easter egg inside? Is there something fascinating? And without dissecting it, you wouldn't know. But it ends up being quite a fascinating thing. That's why I really love these time lapses, especially in the day and age of NFTs to some degree, because a lot of people are talking about what is the value maybe of an NFT, like why is it valuable? What's it doing? And I see these time lapses as it's the only place that animation is recorded, right? It doesn't exist anywhere else. It was only during that print. And as soon as the next layer has gone in the print, you can't see any of the previous things that were inside it. So it's a super fascinating concept for me. And I did have a lot of comments on videos saying, oh my God, what a waste of plastic. Like, what was the point in that? You've now just got a massive block. There's nothing left in it. Like, why did you print it? And this is from a lot of people who are thinking along the lines of, okay, a 3D printer is there to make an object, and the final object is the only thing that is important and that exists after that. But actually, I clearly through these time lapses disagree with that, and I'm saying that actually during that process something different can happen. You can actually take more from it, and I love making. I'm a maker by by trade, and it's in my heart, and the process is so important, and the making process is really important for me. So for that to be even more apparent and even more direct and obvious in this case is I love it, and to have a secret message that maybe one day somebody will cut open this Vecna head and will be like, whoa, this is not solid inside, or this isn't just a normal structure, and they will see these layers, or somebody 3D like does some kind of magical CAT scanning or like X-ray or something, and they find like these models, and they you know, they're like, what was going on here? Why are there words inside this? Like, I would love for that to be the case in the future. I don't know why anyone would do that, but yeah, I just think it's fascinating. Thanks. Are there any other questions?
I have something to add to this. I mean, if you look at it in the other direction, you're quite, you know how the future revolves around how everything is digitalized and everything's on screens. You're doing the quite opposite. You're just getting something, you're getting animations to real life, to physical objects. And someday, if 3D printers were advanced enough to create something like that within the duration of the time lapse in real life, you would be able to like showcase that in events and any terms of display. You're creating animations on physical objects right in front of you. And I think that is quite interesting. Not just like a TikTok trend or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's very true. By the way, I can't wait for the day that you will be able to see this in real time. Like, I'm sure it's coming in the future, because I have to wait, like, say, for example, the Vecna model is like 13-hour print or something like that. So very much so happy for that to happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, I agree. I think the concept that, you have, it's so, maybe I sort of didn't talk about it so much, but the fact that it is an animation that is locked into a geometry is super fascinating to me as a model. Whereas, through the other mediums where you would make an animation, say, for example, a claymation or clay animation, you're moving the models continuously, so it's only a temporary effect, if you like. And to some degree, this shares the same values as this, but actually, if you were to cut it up into each layer, you would get back to the original the original time lapse. So yeah, thanks for your comments. I think it's super interesting as well.
That was a great comment, and that even made me think, the correlation between the 3D and the message itself. Imagine, for example, the message of "I really need to take a seat" makes the 3D shape of a chair, or "I'm so fucking thirsty" makes a cup, for drinking water,
Yeah,
or something like that, where the message itself generates what you actually need or what you're manifesting, the power of word, something like that within that idea.
Oh yeah, for sure. I might have to steal that idea, by the way. Thanks.
All right, patent pending. Come on.
Yeah. We'll come to an agreement. It's fine. It's a collaboration. That's what all these are.
But yeah, let's collaborate on the piece for sure. I would love to.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go for it. Are there any other questions?
More like a comment again, like this conversation you had kind of reminded me of a conversation I had with a theater director. And he kind of said like theater was an art form that only happened while it was represented. Before it's just a script and afterwards it's just a video of a play, but it's not the actual theater happening. And this kind of relates to that because you do have the video and the time lapses, but the actual process when you're creating them, when the like art form exists, not before and not after, they're different. Just a thought that came ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's very true. It's a lot of these things sort of float around the same point, which I think I need to think a little bit more about as well, because it like philosophically and conceptually is actually really an interesting point. One thing I would say about the theater thing is I used to, work in the VR space, and I tried out this experience called Gloomy Eyes. I don't know if anybody else has tried it, but it's a beautiful experience. It's basically you're standing in a dark space, and there are these characters, and they're maybe like sort of 4 or 5 inches tall, and they're walking around in front of you, and there's a scene that's developing, and the sort of environment and everything is developing, and the lighting sort of leads you around, and it's almost like a miniature theater performance in front of you. It's like like a miniaturized theater performance, and you have this great angle and view because you can move wherever you want in the scene, and or sort of in the area, but you have a holistic view from the top down because you're larger than them and everything. And it's a bit cartoony. I think it was also voiced by or narrated by Colin Farrell. So you have this great voice behind it, everything as well, and you're watching what happens to these small characters, and like a car comes in, there's a cinema scene, and like a drive-through cinema. And the visuals are beautiful, but it's like a proper 3D capture almost of a theater performance, even though it was fully animated. So I imagine in the future, maybe you could do something similar with motion capture or something like that, and actually get a full, appreciation of it. And you could watch it as if, it was being performed in front of you. But I think it's super fascinating how we can use technologies to capture these things that we never could in brand new ways nowadays. Yeah, thank you for the question. I'd love to hear any more thoughts or questions if there are any. No. I guess if we're if there are no more questions, we can sort of wrap up. And as I said, you're more than welcome to contact me on any of the platforms. I normally go as Prash Makes. So on TikTok, it's prash.makes. On Twitter, it's just Prash Makes. So do reach out, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prash, for coming here, presenting, and please, guys, do follow Prash.makes, and Prash Makes, like you mentioned. This was a treat, so thank you so much again. I will be contacting you so we collaborate on something, because now I'm pumped up and I'm ready to do something.
No, definitely.
Of course.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak here on your stage. It's been awesome. I love this medium. It's so cool being able to walk around in 3D space and show all of this off, and especially working in the 3D space itself, so we can put these models up. It's super great, and it's such a nice, engaging way to do it. So I look forward to many more of these sorts of talks in the future.
Absolutely. And once a Dive Live speaker, forever a Dive Live speaker. So now you'll carry that title forever.
Yay,
so
badge of honor.
Thank you so much again. And for everyone that joined us today, thank you for coming here with us. And just a reminder, the next week we're going to start a Dive Live series, actually. And it's going to be a series talking about the theme of creative AI. So artificial intelligence in the world of design, architecture, creativity, art, etc. So if you guys are interested in that, please check it out. And if you have experimented with artificial intelligence, even text to image, experiments, we do have a submission for a community gallery that we're putting together. So if you guys have some of these, feel free to submit some of your work, a description, and you can be part of the gallery. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you all next week.
Thank you very much, and thanks for everyone for attending. Cheers.